And our word for today on this Thursday, December the 5th, this Thursday of the first week of Advent, our word for today is does. Does is our word for today, taken from our gospel reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7. Jesus said to his disciples, "Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven." Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, but it didn't collapse. It had been set solidly on the rock. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not act on them will be like a fool who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, and it collapsed and was completely ruined. What is the difference, brothers and sisters? Jesus makes it clear. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father. The difference is that which we do and that which we do not do. Simple. The Lord God calls us to be obedient. And when we are obedient, he says that those who are obedient have set themselves upon the rock, have built their house, have built their life, have built their dependence, have built their confidence upon the rock. And then what does Jesus say to Peter? Peter, you are a rock, and on this church on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell won't prevail against it, even if the winds blow, even if the storm comes. It's not built on sand, it's built on the rock. It's built on the rock. Don't give up. No matter how smart you think you are, no matter how holy you think you are, don't get out of the boat. Don't get off the rock. Stay on the rock. Jesus says that those who find themselves upon that rock should find confidence in that thing. Again, all about what we did and what we did not do. We see it in the parable of the sheep and the goats. The people are separated not by what they believe, not by what they profess, but what they do and do not do. What they did and did not do. We are held accountable for those things, brothers and sisters. Absolutely. And we are held accountable for where we plant ourselves. Jesus has made the promise. Let us be faithful to stand on that promise. And he makes it clear where we should be standing. We ought to be standing on the rock. That is where we find our confidence. That is where we find our peace. And yes, that is where we find a surety. Again, we see elsewhere in the scriptures, St. Paul telling us, be not hearers of the word only, but be doers of the word. We can't just hear and then do nothing. We hear, we respond, we have the Spirit dwelling within us, and he stirs up a desire in us to be servants of God, to come into a deeper relationship with him. And then he says, now that stirring is happening, now that you have the Spirit living within you, you are accountable to go out now and do those things that you are hearing the Lord command us to do. We want to go out and do the work of the evangelist. We want to go out and tell the good news to everyone that they might be free as well. Free to do what? Free to dwell on the rock, to live on the rock and find our security, our peace, and our salvation right there as we hold to that promise. Does our word for today.